Hello. I'm doing another try here. Thanks for just being part of this experiment for me as I test out this new um, streaming software. So I am so grateful for you if you're listening here. Just please let me know if you catch me live or if you catch me on the recording. I'm going to check every now and then for the comments. Um, but yeah, anyway, they just don't show up on my screen. So if I look away, that's all that I'm doing is just to see if there's any comments there that or questions that come up. But I do want to share with you something that's happened in the last little while. I've had a few people who have talked about like I'm doing okay, but I just feel like there's something more for me. There's a bigger purpose or a bigger mission or calling or something different, something that's more meaningful for them. I just find it interesting that people are are feeling that way, and maybe you feel that way. And if you do, certainly, just let me know in the comments if you felt that way at some point, and maybe what helped you get out of it, because that would help all of us. And if you're feeling that way now, and I mean that can come from sometimes it can come from like a job loss or a move, any change in life circumstances. We tend to question what's going on sometimes where we're working. Things change. I've worked in a few workplaces where management changed, systems changed, processes changed. Sometimes I moved following my husband and was in a position to get a new job. And all of those are times that we might question what is this really what I want to do now that I have a chance to do something different. And if you're wanting to leave a position, and is this a time to start a business, is this a time to find a new job? There's all these questions that can come up that make us kind of go like, what am I here for? And it's a big question. And there's lots of answers, and different people give all different answers. So let me just adjust that. This is part of the test, is to just check everything out. I think my lighting's a little dark, so I'm gonna have to work on that. I'm also testing out new lipstick. And a funny little note about that, I didn't really ever think about doing blooper reels when I was thinking of live streaming again. But I did a whole presentation, an hour, with lipstick on my teeth. So I hope you get a chuckle out of that. And if you've had any bloopers when you've been live, please put them in below because we could all use a chuckle. Um, anyway, so what do you do when you have that kind of feeling of, what is next for me? Yeah, I've spent way too many months, way too many years questioning that myself after just needing to move on from Facebook ad media buying, and thinking that I had it all figured out, and then it didn't work out how I wanted. And there's many things that happen with that. I just might not have put in the right effort. I jumped from one thing to another too fast, and so I've learned a lot of lessons along the way. But that question of like, what why am I here, and how can I make the biggest difference, and who can I really help? And so it's a normal place to be. So if you're there, I just want to say that you are not alone. And I mean, I've rediscovered, because I buried this somehow, and I don't want to suggest that anyone of you have buried this, but it's something to maybe consider. But I know that I am meant to help people figure that out, to help them believe in themselves, to believe in them until they believe in themselves, to let them borrow my belief. I believe there's nothing that I love better working with clients than when I see that look in the eye when it finally clicks. And, whether it's figuring out what it is that they want to do, what that bigger purpose is, or they, get the results that they're looking for in whatever it is that they're doing. It's just so wonderful to see people get that feeling and that look that, I am joyfully doing what it is that I love, and people, it's making a difference, and I'm helping to change people's lives. And I don't take that lightly. I don't, I definitely not a heart surgeon saving lives with heart transplants or lung transplants or any of those things that are so valuable for people. But that having that inner itch that you are meant for more, it is often, not just sometimes, but often, it takes some help of somebody with you to do that. But I'd love to hear if any of you who are watching have found that purpose, have found that mission, that calling, that they know they're 100% absolutely filling it. Joey, I know that you are. So I hope you've watched so far, that you've had a chance, so you can chime in. And but I want to hear how other people are doing with that. Are you feeling like you are on purpose? You're on fire. You're doing exactly what you're supposed to do. You're just driven, and you have no shadow of a doubt of what it is that you are meant to do, and you're doing it. And I'd love to hear if you're feeling stuck with that. And what have you tried, and where are the challenges? What's going on with that? Because we are meant to do what we're called to do. And so I'd just like to say that it's just a sec. I'm just going to refresh to see if there I am live. Cool. Awesome. That's pretty awesome. Even if I'm dark, I'll be sorting that out. I like to look at purpose a little differently than other people, and that that we have a big, like an overarching purpose in our life, and that we express it in different ways. So here's my purpose: is to use my creativity and intuition to inspire and guide others to intentionally create a world of peace, hope, joy, and love for the highest good of all concerned. Now, that's a life purpose. It's not a business purpose. It's my overarching life purpose, and I express this in different ways. So when I think about how I am with my family, when I'm with my family, I want to use my creativity and intuition to inspire and guide them to intentionally create a world of peace, hope, love, joy, and love. And I hope I do that by example. When I'm in working with clients, I want to use this purpose, to use my creativity and intuition to inspire and guide my clients to intentionally create a world of peace, hope, joy, and love for the highest good of all concerned. That's who I want to work with. I don't want to work with people who are out there just for the money, that are driven in different ways. I want to work with people who want to change the world in that way, that we can have a world of peace, hope, joy, and love. And we can experience it, that, and we can live it. So with my family, that's the way. With my business, but even before I created and had the like that, I was able to put the statement together with those pieces. I expressed that in my life. Like when I worked in the women's shelter, this was basically the premise that I was working from. It didn't mean that I thought that we were living that way. I mean, I was living that way, and I knew that I could help other people live that way. Because that's a ongoing social concern that still hasn't been solved and or resolved. So, but that, hopefully my piece of the world in those moments in time helped some families learn that they can live in a world of peace, hope, joy, and love, and that they can create that for themselves in whatever way that happens. I came from that way when I was supervising the home visitors in a child development and parenting program. I came from that when I worked with the volunteers with victims assistance and in disaster relief with the Canadian Red Cross, and even in the working with the visual art education people that I worked with, in my employer world, in my volunteer world as a Canadian Red Cross, as a musician in a band, community band, concert band, and in working with family caregivers and widows, like all that. That's really what I wanted to come from, is to intentionally guide others to intentionally create a world of peace, hope, joy, and love in whatever I do. And I believe that marketers can do that. I believe that agency owners can do that. I believe that, if you're in corporate or in a job where you're at a crossroads thinking, what's next? And you're thinking of a business, but you aren't quite sure what it is. I believe that you still can, I would still believe that you can create whatever your purpose is and it will come through. So anyway, I've done a little bit of jabbering. That's likely long enough for now. And thanks for listening. If you've listened this far, I put in hashtag live, hashtag replay if you get this far. I think the test I've done I did a couple of tests before that didn't work out, but I think I've got this one down pat as far as the streaming and get the lighting issues looked after. Maybe my background stuff. There's a lot of little toys here to play with that I don't even know what they mean, because they're all symbols. So I'll have to play with them separately. But I do appreciate you, and I will be back again with a live stream. Go ahead and live your purpose with passion.